I come to Mexico every year, but this year has been quite special. I think it's the largest number of women we've had together for going for a Refuge Retreat. And the really special thing was that 7 women were ordained on that retreat and then had their public ordination here in the Buddhist Centre. Cintamani is a lovely retreat centre. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours drive south of Mexico City. And it was purchased and set up maybe 10 years or something, maybe slightly less. And then they've just planted trees and bushes and over these 8 or 10 years or whatever, done wonderful jobs. So there's a lovely accommodation block, rooms for 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, mainly en suite, really nice rooms, really beautifully done. And then there's a lovely shrine room, a gompa, as they call it, beautiful round shaped room, which is got a really nice atmosphere actually. And then there's palapas, I don't know how you say that in English, kind of structures that are open but they have a roof, made of a kind of thatched roof. So there's one big one which we can use for talks and even outdoor meditations, and then there's 2 smaller ones that people use sometimes just to sit and have a chat with somebody. There's a swimming pool, which is always quite nice, especially when it's hot, and lovely dining room, great big kitchen, some lovely local women who cook for the retreats. So it's a fantastic place to do retreats, really. So quite a luxury really to do retreats there. We're very well looked after. Retreats there would be for maybe 35 to 40 people, and this time we had nearly 50. I think almost all the Dharmacharis were able to come from Mexico, so that was fantastic. The 7 women who were going to be ordained were particularly practicing with Paramachitta and Dhyachandra, so that they could do some things relevant for the preparation. One grouping of people there who'd never been in a GFR retreat or gone for a Refuge Retreat before were these 6 women that came up from Venezuela. I went to visit Venezuela a year ago, met the women who'd asked for ordination. I was so impressed by how devoted they were to Triratna, to the way we practice, without very much input. Jnana Dakini and I talked about how wonderful it would be if these women, some of them could come and visit Mexico. So we did a number of fundraising initiatives. So I set up a fundraising page that I put on Facebook. Some people in Holland did some fundraising, some people in Australia did some fundraising. We got some money from the USA. So we managed to raise over £3,000 in quite a short time.
Well, my name is Maria Elena Ludeña. I'm from Venezuela. Me with 5 other women, we came to Mexico. To our first going to Refuge Retreat. Well, it was very exciting. We were waiting for this for so long, 2 years already, to be present to the ordination of 7 Mexican wonderful women. Well, that's just very inspiring, very touching, and we learned a lot about Triratna in our retreat, and that was really important. We were really, really glad and happy to have such fortune to be here.
Really easily we found places for all 6 of them to stay. So they've been staying with Mexican mitras and order members. People have been driving them around, taking them places. The Buddhist Centre here did a special evening for them. I love that. I just think the internationality of Triratna is one of our joys, one of our jewels really. And just to see these women who'd never met any Dharmacharani except Jnana Dakini and myself, and a long time ago Kemajoti, who visited years ago, some of them had never met her. Suddenly they were in retreat with 10 Dharmacharanis. They watched these 7 women prepare for their private ordination, and then they were able to come to the public ordination. So I'm really excited that that happened, and it feels like it's quite a big thing for Latin America. Until now, Mexico, the 3 centres now in Mexico, have really been the only main things in Latin America. Nothing in South America, really. So it just feels like to make those links from Venezuela to Mexico just felt really important, big step in the future for Latin America, which is massive. So we had the private ordinations on the retreat, and then on Sunday we came here to the Buddhist Centre for the public ordination ceremony. People here at the Mexico City Buddhist Centre did a fantastic job of helping set up a beautiful shrine and created a really lovely space. And I think there were maybe 250 people or so. So of course it was live streamed, which was exciting. I'm really pleased we were able to do that, and I've had a lot of messages from people who watched it and found it really moving. And of course some of those 7 women have spent time overseas, so they know, quite a lot of people from other centres do know them. And also the people who'd helped fundraise for the Venezuelan women to come were able to watch and have a glimpse and a sense of what that experience was like for them to be at the public ordinations.
I still don't have enough words to express what I felt yesterday in the shrine during the public ordination. I think I cried a lot because I couldn't hold my emotions, and I said, well, why not? It's amazing, and it's I know for sure that we all was sending metta at this moment yesterday too. It was amazing. Yes.
Reverenciamos al Dharma.
Reverenciamos al Dharma.
La enseñanza del Buda.
La enseñanza del Buda.
Que nos conduce de la oscuridad a la luz.
Que nos conduce de la oscuridad a la luz.
Samadhyami
Isunavachaya
Isunavachaya
Veramani
Veramani
Sikhapadam
Sikapalam
Samadhyami.
Samadhyami.
Muchas.
So it was a pretty historic occasion actually. The first time there's been so many ordinations in Mexico. To welcome 7 more women into the order has almost doubled the number of Dharmacharinis here in Mexico. But also one thing that I found really moving was Daya Chandra, who's one of the Mexican Dharmacharinis. She was the first Mexican person to be ordained on Mexican soil. And she has now been the first woman private preceptor in Mexico. So for me this felt like, well, this was, you know, a Mexican woman ordaining Mexican women in Mexico. So it feels to me like, I feel very optimistic about the future here. It feels like things are rolling.